Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Alan Weber here from the Mayor's office on a cloudy Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. Update on COVID-19, and then we'll talk about some other matters as well. Yesterday we had 4 new cases in Santa Fe County. The day before that we had 3 new cases in Santa Fe County. And I'm a little concerned that what's happening is we are going from being very vigilant and wearing face coverings, using hand sanitizer, practicing social distancing, maintaining some discipline around fighting COVID-19, and now we've decided that we've got that problem behind us and we are not going to pay any attention to it as we open up the city. And the city is opening. There's good news on that front. The hotels are getting guests, the restaurants are serving delicious meals, the retail stores are open and doing some business. That's all great. It's not going to be great if we don't take care of COVID-19. It's about 3 months ago that we first started hearing about the need to change our behavior with this global pandemic striking the United States. In early March, there were 10,000 cases in the United States. Now, there's about 1.7 million cases, and more than 100,000 people have died, and it's not over. We haven't yet got it behind us. So as we think about reopening, as we think about enjoying the summer, and if we want to enjoy a restaurant dine-in experience, if we want to go to the parks and enjoy a beautiful picnic, great. But don't take for granted the fact that COVID-19 has been lost from the radar screen, moved from the radar screen. It's still there, and it affects everything that's going on right now. It affects our budget deficit, it affects our economy locally, it affects the jobs that our people have, it affects our mom and pop stores and businesses, it affects all of the things we're trying to do in Santa Fe to bring our community back to a place of enhanced economic opportunity, quality of life. Everything is touched by COVID-19 still. So please don't lose track of something that was the most significant health emergency of my lifetime. This has changed everything. And just because we're now dealing with questions of race and justice, peace, equal treatment before the law, all of which are of the paramount level of importance, they're still touched by COVID-19. There'll be a demonstration tonight. I'm praying it'll stay peaceful, like all of them have been in Santa Fe so far. A peaceful demonstration, but it's important to wear a face covering and not to get sick as we demonstrate against racial injustice, historical, systemic racism, as we take on the questions of society and justice and peace and inclusivity and equality. All of those are of the moment, and all of those need our attention, our urgent engagement, and our peaceful effort at conversation and improvement. And we still have to stay safe from COVID-19. So let's talk a little bit about Santa Fe, peace and justice, and inclusivity and racial and other and economic justice as well, because that's what's going on. What we're seeing is COVID-19 opening up this long period, this long record of inequality, injustice, bias, discrimination across the country, and a conversation that started with and was triggered by this murder in Minneapolis. It's going on still. It's going on here. Last night I was on the plaza at 4 o'clock because somebody posted on Facebook an invitation to a violent demonstration. It said, "Bring gasoline, bring hammers, let's tear down, torch downtown Santa Fe." It looked like it was a piece of paper that had been posted in other cities because it said, let's go after these stores, some of which don't even exist in Santa Fe. But it put everybody on edge, including our downtown merchants, including me, including our city employees who were feeling threatened by the possibility that violence would come into downtown Santa Fe or other parts of the city. And we were all on high alert. And it's actually not a bad thing to be on high alert because it makes you question whether we're doing enough, whether we're doing the right things, whether we're engaging with the right conversations in order to solve the problem of racism, the problem of inequality, the problem of unequal access to opportunity in our country and in our city. I know that in cities across America, where they are larger than we are, the police departments are frequently not a reflection of the population, the people in the community that they're supposed to serve and protect. I know that in many cities, what zip code your home is in determines the quality of the education your children get. I know that in many cities, the zip code that your house is located in determines whether you have access to a job or food or health care, the basic building blocks of a good life. It determines whether you've got a park to take your kids to, and it determines whether you feel safe or not. We are committed to doing better in Santa Fe in all of these measures. We're committed to improving equal opportunity for everybody in our community. In light of the COVID-19 virus, our community, which has always been a compassionate and inclusive city, reached out to feed people at a scale and in numbers that we've never seen before. 3 times the number of meals served for seniors. The community college kitchen opened up for 3,000 meals a day for people who are hungry. Our fire department, our police department have delivered meals, have done their best in the COVID-19 crisis to be the first responders who take care of people who are complaining of the symptoms of COVID-19 and get those people the medical care they need and that they deserve. Our Midtown shelter was opened up in the blink of an eye to take care of people who are among the most vulnerable here in Santa Fe, people who, when they are told stay at home to shelter from COVID-19, didn't have a home to shelter in. And so we stood up a shelter to give those people a place to be safe, to protect them from COVID-19, and to protect all of us from the potential tinderbox that homeless shelters often become in spreading those kinds of community-based diseases. All of these are the best of Santa Fe, and it's historically true of our community that when times are tough, we come together. We are here for each other. We look after each other. We extend our family to include those who were not literally members of our family. They're members of the community who we make our family. And that's Santa Fe at its best. Santa Fe at its best is a peaceful demonstration calling upon the country at large and Santa Fe at home to do a better job of protecting everybody's rights, of recognizing that everyone has a right to safety, security, justice, that the police really are in our community to protect us and to serve us and to keep us safe. I revisited recently, earlier this week, a videotape that was made about 2 years ago when a young African-American medical student was visiting Santa Fe. He was out west from New Orleans, where he was a student at a med school because he wanted to learn how to give health care to the tribes. He went into a fast service store, and the clerk called the Santa Fe police to come arrest him because he was picking up items and putting them back. And she didn't like having an African American in her store. And our police department refused to respond to her request for an arrest because he had done nothing wrong. On the videotape, one of our officers who happens to be patrolling that area encountered the young man on the street and got into a conversation with him. And the young man said, "I'm here from New Orleans. We're here, a number of us, to go out and work with the tribes. I'm a med student. I didn't do anything wrong. Am I under arrest?" And the officer says, "You're not under arrest. You're free to go. We have something here in Santa Fe called the Constitution, and we believe in it." That video speaks to the people who work for you as police. I've gotten some very, very good questions over the last few days from people who sent me a platform that former HUD Secretary Julian Castro created, an agenda for better policing. And it asked questions like, what are your police policies as regard neck restraints, the kind of chokeholds that have killed African Americans, not just in Minneapolis, but in New York and elsewhere. Those are not allowed under the policing policies of the city of Santa Fe. Something that happened in Minneapolis, 3 other officers watched and did nothing while one of the officers put his knee on the neck of an innocent man for minute after minute after minute until he was dead. Those officers violated a Santa Fe police policy, which is you are called upon to intervene as a member of the Santa Fe Police Department if you see one of your fellow officers breaking the policies, violating the law of the city of Santa Fe. Our police officers are trained to be respectful and mindful of the rights of all of our people. I asked for and got recently a list of the kinds of training that our police department has undergone, going back to the year 2014. In 2014, all of our sworn personnel undertook training called the Sikh Coalition. Who are the Sikhs? Because we have a large Sikh community right outside Santa Fe. In 2016 and 2017, all sworn personnel underwent training called How Being Trauma-Informed Improves the Criminal Justice System. 2016 and 2017, all sworn personnel undertook training called Disability Awareness Training. In 2018 and 2019, Crisis Intervention Training. All sworn personnel and new hires in 2020 will attend the class as soon as feasible as we get through the COVID-19 restrictions. In 2019, 75% of all of our sworn personnel went through training called Beyond Blue and Pink, Transgender Awareness Training. In April of 2019, lieutenants and above got cultural competency and community equity training. Every other year, starting in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and now coming up 2020, 21, interactions with persons with mental impairments, a training for all sworn police personnel. Another training for all sworn personnel, which has gone on every other year, 2014, 2015 until now. Hate crimes required by the Department of Public Safety for all sworn personnel. I don't know if any of you have gone on ride-alongs with our police department. But since becoming mayor, I've gone on at least 4 or 5. And I am consistently impressed with the way they go about their jobs. They are young, they're committed, they chose this profession because they care about our community. It's not a job for them, it's a calling. And they are committed to doing the best they can. I know that no police officer, including our chief, would ever say that we're perfect, and no one ever makes a mistake. But I can tell you that the number of times I've seen our police officers go into a situation where they are being taunted, or people are attempting to get them to step out of line, and they maintain their professional composure and politeness and maintain and respect the dignity of the individual they're working with, regardless of that person's attitude toward them. They do a very, very fine job. These are very tense times. Obviously, all over the country, cities are in flames. There are high passions. The injustices of not just the last few weeks, but of decades, continue to remind us that there are historical inequities and injustices that we have not righted to this day. I picked up the phone earlier this week and put in a call to one of my personal heroes, Senator Fred Harris. Senator Fred Harris was a U.S. Senator from Oklahoma. He ran for president, and he now lives in Albuquerque, outside Albuquerque, and is now the last living member of the so-called Kerner Commission. The Kerner Commission was chartered by President Lyndon Johnson to investigate the causes of the riots in 1968, when America was in flames then. That report could have been written today. It says that we are increasingly becoming a country that is separate and unequal, where we are not living up to our promise of equality, opportunity, freedom, and respect for everyone, regardless of race, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation. We are not living up to that promise. And I spoke with Senator Harris about it. I encourage our news media to pick up the phone and call Senator Harris. He is a living hero of American political history and can talk about 1968 and today. The first words out of his mouth when I told him why I was calling was, Senator Harris said, "I am absolutely heartbroken at what I'm seeing today." And I think we all are. I think our hearts are in many cases in our mouths or in the pit of our stomach, because we're so anguished over America in 2020, struggling to bring health care to the neediest among us. The greatest incidence of COVID-19 is among the most vulnerable populations. It's among African Americans, it's among Hispanics, it's among Native Americans. So this disease is ravaging people in our country who have already been ravaged. Now we have cities in flames. We have the President of the United States threatening to send in the military and take over the streets of our cities. And what we need is not military. We need engagement. We need conversation. We need dialogue. We need your participation, your help, your engagement in making Santa Fe an even better place to live for all of us. So I'm inviting you now and in the days ahead to talk to each other, to talk to the people in your family. If you are a member of a church or a synagogue or a mosque, bring this to your faith community. Open up a dialogue about life in Santa Fe. experiences that you've had that are either exemplary of our ability to show our best to each other, or indications that we're not doing well enough and we are not helping each other the way we should. I'm inviting you to reach out to me. I'm here. I am available for a Zoom conference with anyone who wants to have one on the subject of race, equality, justice, and peace in Santa Fe. I will schedule a Zoom meeting with anybody or any group at any time that wants to start that dialogue. I can start with one person on one call, and we'll grow it until we have a community-wide conversation about how Santa Fe becomes the city we say we always want to be, the best place in America, the best place in the world to live, to work, to raise a family. We are an example in so many good ways, so many remarkable ways. We are an example to the rest of the country about how people from different backgrounds, different walks of life, different cultures can live in peace with each other. And this moment puts us to the test as we have not been tested in a long time. Can we continue to walk the path of peace with each other, hand in hand, brother and sister, living as a family? Can we agree that we need to do better, and also agree that the way to do better is to do it together, with each other, peacefully, in dialogue, in community, and in an ongoing conversation that makes us an even better community for our children and our grandchildren? So please talk to each other, talk to me, talk to your neighbors, talk to the members of your church, synagogue, your mosque, wherever you meet, wherever you gather. This is the conversation for now and for the future. We are a remarkable, an amazing, a wonderful, a beautiful city. And we're made up of people who are remarkable and wonderful and beautiful. Let's be that way for each other, toward each other, and always with each other. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Keep the peace. Keep speaking out. Continue to make the point that we can all do better, that America must do better. And as we go forward, let's commit ourselves to being that city that is a different city, a better city, and a city where we care and love each other. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.